Today on Travel Magazine 2000, we'll take you to the 18th century walled city of Visby. With its beautiful gabled houses and 17 medieval churches. We explore the historical rebuilt city of Aarhus, Denmark. But first, the majestic city of Stockholm. Built on 14 islands, this beautiful Viking city is home to more than 1.5 million people and the Vasa Museum. Built gracefully on 14 islands is a capital city like no other in the world. Stockholm, Sweden is without any doubt one of the most beautiful in the world. Come and explore both the new and the old city. Walk its cobblestone streets and feel its history. Experience all its traditions, both old and new. Hi, I'm Jake de Boer.
And I'm Mieke de Boer from the smallest street in Stockholm. Welcome to this edition of Travel Magazine 2000.
Stockholm is located on the southwest coast of Sweden. It is the natural gateway to the Baltic Sea. The many canals surrounding the city have created more than 15 ports of entry. During the Middle Ages, Stockholm became the economic center of Sweden. King Gustav Vasa was responsible for making Stockholm a royal capital. The Parliament building provides testament to its past economic strength and commitment. Cultural, musical and dramatical capital was created in the 18th century. Its present-day cultural life thrives in the architecture of its past. Stockholm boasts a large collection of museums, 150 in all. The city's architecture illustrates the wealth of Stockholm's past. One part of Stockholm's history was not so glorious. When King Gustavus Adolphus II commissioned the great warship Vasa in the 17th century, it was to be the pride of the Navy's fleet. Instead, it was the Titanic of the 17th century. This magnificent work of art traveled only 1,300 meters into its maiden voyage before it sank. In 1956, the excavation process began. For 2 years, divers flushed out tunnels beneath the ship in order to lay heavy cables attached to water-filled pontoons. By August 1959, the first lift occurred. Finally, after 333 years underwater, the Vasa broke the surface and a piece of 17th century history came alive. Her restoration began in 1961 and is now complete. After one of the most complex salvage operations ever undertaken, we can now see the 1,000 oaks which made up her hull. She also carries 500 figure sculptures and more than 200 carved ornaments.
You know that Stockholm must be one of the most beautiful cities, especially here in this old part of town.
Yes, in my opinion it is. You have a little bit of everything. You have the green parks, the water, the beautiful buildings, and the life. It's a very live city. You have a lot of people coming here from all over, and people like being outdoors.
Is this the oldest part we are in now?
Yes, this is actually the heart of Stockholm. This is where it all began, some 700 years ago. This has been in the history of Stockholm all throughout the centuries.
Tell me, what is that old building over there?
Well, all these buildings are on the main square in the very middle of the old town, and this is where the Stockholm bloodbath occurred.
Oh.
And this happened because Sweden and Denmark has been in rivalry throughout the centuries for many, many years, and the Stockholm bloodbath was the kind of the turning point for that, because after it, the Swedish king, who became kind of our most famous king, Gustav Vasa, came on the throne. And before that, this bloodbath occurred. And it was the Danish king who beheaded the archbishops and many of the people from the nobility who were against having a Danish king in Sweden. So they actually say that when they had the people beheaded here on the main square, there was so much blood that the blood poured all the way down to the waterfront from the main square. There was so much blood.
Stockholm has restaurants in abundance. From world-famous gourmet establishments to cozy neighborhood cafes. You will also find a smorgasbord of shopping along the quaint and narrow streets in and around the old town.
You know, this street really reminds me of the shopping in the Kalverstraat in Amsterdam. Look at this, tax-free shopping.
Oh, and it's genuine Nordic handicraft, so there must be things from Lapland as well.
Yeah. And look at this store over here.
Perfumes and you name it. And there are antique stores, but you know, I've noticed walking through Stockholm how many words the Swedish language has in common with the Afrikaans and English. There are a lot of words that are directly translatable, like exit, uitgang, uitgang in Dutch and Afrikaans. So I think it's quite unique. It is truly a wonderful experience to find a relaxing Swedish rub-down in the center of Old Town. The Royal Palace is the official residence of His Majesty the King. Renovations to the former Three Crowns Castle began in 1692. The Roman architecture and Rococo facade give shelter to the more than 600 rooms. The palace has its own luxurious chapel, even though this enormous church is right across the street. Stockholm is steeped in tradition. Every day at noon, locals and tourists alike gather to watch the changing of the guards. When we return, we take you to the famous walled city of Visby, with its cobblestone streets and ancient churches. We'll also visit the open-air museum of Aarhus, Denmark.
You wouldn't believe that this is a bedroom, and this is a bed, and people were sleeping here, sitting up straight.
Here we sampled the most delicious Danish pastries in the world.
We will be back with more of Travel Magazine 2000 just after this, so stay with us.
Welcome back to Travel Magazine 2000. Time stood still in the walled city of Visby on the island of Gotland. Located only 55 miles from the Swedish coast, it was originally built by traders of the Hanseatic League in the 13th century.
Within these walls are 44 towers, 17 churches, and a lot of quaint little houses.
Visby is situated in the middle of the Baltic Sea. Its proximity to the coast made Visby the trading center of Northern Europe. This wall was built in the middle of the 13th century. It was a way for merchants to show their independence from the rest of the island, while towers served as the lookout for enemy attacks. Inside the well-preserved city wall, medieval church ruins and Hanseatic warehouses mingle with stone and wooden buildings of a later age. Merchants build warehouses 5 to 6 stories high. The houses are of elegant design with carved windows and door frames. Visby is also known as the City of Roses. They bloom from early summer to November. The climate makes the island a popular vacation spot. The town has numerous remnants of its historic past. It is the #1 spot in Scandinavia for medieval art. A little daylight filters through the skylights onto the remains of Sindrotten. In the small park in front of the church stands the statue of Christopher Pollum, genius, inventor, and constructor. The church building and interior reflect the celestial world. Another ruin not far away is St. Katharina. This Franciscan monastery was built in 1233. Its arches seem to rise up to heaven. The slender Gothic style allows light to shine through the stained glass windows. It is impossible not to linger and admire the architecture. Construction on St. Mary's Cathedral began late in the 12th century. It served as a model for many Visby churches. The lavish sculptures and ornaments are historic treasures, especially the gargoyles. A large, extravagant chapel was built in the 14th century. These slabs in the floor are actual tombstones. The headstones tell the stories of the diverse people buried here. Shopping in Visby includes local wares such as glassworks, forged metal goods, and sheepskin. There are many antique stores and galleries. The shops are on narrow alleys that lead down to the harbor. You can literally lose yourself in the past walking along the cobblestone streets. Next, we explore Aarhus, Denmark, the world's smallest big city.
Mieke, this smells very nice in here.
It smells, but we can't taste everything here, but it looks very good. We will be back with more of Travel Magazine 2000 just after this, so stay with us.
Welcome back to Travel Magazine 2000.
Denmark's second largest city is Aarhus, founded by the Vikings in the year of 958. Glimpses of the past can be found in the open-air museum called the Old Town, where you will find buildings reassembled from all over the country.
Illustrating life from the 16th to the 19th century.
Aarhus is situated on the east coast of the Jutland Peninsula. The history of Aarhus dates back more than 10 centuries. The streets are full of life. Many of the old houses have been converted into shops, art galleries, and cafes. It is not necessary to go to the museums to sense the atmosphere of the past. There's even an old-fashioned amusement park.
This is actually from the 16th to the 19th century.
You know, and they're buildings that have been brought in from all over Denmark, brick by brick and piece by piece, and been reassembled to give people a glimpse of life in the past.
The Old Town is an open-air museum. More than 60 houses have been carefully removed from their original sites and restored with loving care. Inside, life from the past is recreated. The interior of this living room demonstrates the craftsmanship and detail artisans bestowed on their work. A typical bedroom of the Viking era reveals the focus on design and ornamentation.
This place is all hand-painted, very old, and this is, you wouldn't believe that this is a bedroom, and this is a bed, and people were sleeping here, sitting up straight. And then I guess they closed the door. It's all beautifully done.
Aarhus is a charming blend of its cultural past and today's vibrant cosmopolitan life. In the Old Town are a variety of shops, from general stores and warehouses to specialty shops, including a Danish necessity, the pastry shop.
Jake, you know the Danes are famous for its pastries.
Oh, right.
Let's go and see. Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell me, what is very famous here?
It's the honey hearts.
Are those samples?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
okay, we should sample one.
Yeah, of course.
Is this typical from Denmark?
Yes, it is. It's the heart.
It's
You
the
can see
heart.
it. Yeah.
Oh, do they use that over Christmas time?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
That is,
Mieke, this smells very nice in here.
it smells, but we can't taste everything here, but it looks very good.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
mean, Denmark is famous for its pastries.
Yeah.
Is this a Danish pastry?
Yes, it is. It's original.
Oh.
What do you call it?
Wienerbrød on Danish.
Wienerbrot?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Try again.
Wienerbrot?
Yeah, it's right.
You're not sure. You say it again.
Wienerbrød.
Wienerbrot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Say that, Mieke. Wienerbrot.
Wienerbrot.
No. Wienerbrot.
Wienerbrot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to go for a walk and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Thank
Good.
you. Stockholm, Visby and Aarhus. These Scandinavian cities combine old world charm with new world efficiency. An added attraction to these beautiful cities is the slower pace of life, an aspect every visitor will appreciate.
Jake, I've really enjoyed this old town.
And you know what? That's it for this edition of Travel Magazine 2000. I'm Jake de Boer.
And I'm Mieke de Boer, and join us again as we travel the world.